welcome back to Destiny Military Time, and today I'm going to be talking about my basic training experience and how I got through it and any tips for new trainees going into basic. So, like before, like, subscribe, and comment below if you want to see the next video, be AIT or my new unit, and I'll make sure I get that up as soon as possible. So, let's get started. So, to put it blunt, I was in Echo Company 339, 3rd Platoon. They were calling us Dirty Third, but our drill sergeant called us Punishers. So that was very experienced. That was a really good experience. But I remember waking up in reception, knowing this was the day I was going to get shipped off. I remember having my phone for one last night, and I had texted my mom and I said, I will call you when I get to basic training. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to call you for, but I will let you know I made it there safely. So that was good. We had 2 green duffel bags. One of them we had put on a vehicle, and the other one we had to take physically. We turned this corner and we saw a row of drill sergeants. And I said, oh my God, this is where it's gonna get intense at. We got on the bus and they had told us to put our heads in our duffel bags. And we had drove around for like 10 minutes, and then there it goes. They said, you have 1 minute to get off my fucking bus. And we got off this fucking bus. And I remember they were playing this like cat and mouse game, like trying to find your bags and make sure you get on the line, your proper line. So eventually we got it all figured out. Everybody was where they're supposed to be, and they introduced our drill sergeants. My drill sergeant name was Drill Sergeant Flynn and Drill Sergeant Greenwald. I remember them making sure we had everything in all our gear and just making sure everything was set. So we woke up the next day at 05, and we had to be down at 05:30. They woke us up with an air horn on our first night. So I was on the top bunk, and I remember falling off the top bunk. And I remember coming down in summer PTs with short sleeves and shorts and having a big bruise on my thigh from falling off the top of my bunk. So that was a very good experience. But we did that, and it was terrible. So we got through PT, we went to eat, and then we came down and we sat with our drill sergeants, and they just explained what they expect from us. And everybody was different. It was 4 platoons, so you had 1st platoon, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and I was 3rd. So my drill sergeant was a little bit different than 1st platoon, because 1st platoon, they did not stop doing push-ups their first week. And not even their first week. The whole time they were at basic, they kept doing push-ups. Like, their drill sergeant made them super strong. My drill sergeant, Drill Sergeant Greenwald thought it would be a good idea for corrective action. He thought that's the way to get our attention. Drill Sergeant Flynn was the opposite. He believed in corrective action, but he also believed that we were still human. We still needed to be talked to. So those are the difference between my 2 drill sergeants. But during red phase was when they broke us, and they made sure that we knew what we were to expect. They made sure we marched. So like left, 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 right, 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 left, your left, stuff like that. So they made sure we could march, and they made sure we could do an about face. And that's when you do the gas chamber, you do the hammer, and you also do Victory Tower. All 3 of those events you need to graduate. So don't think y'all about to get out of it, because no, that's not about to happen. So the Victory Tower was the first event. So it's when you go on the tower and you propel off of it. And that was pretty fun, but for me, I had a sprained ankle, so that was kind of hard for me to get through it, but I got through it anyway. And my drill sergeant was there. Drill Sergeant Flynn was there, not Drill Sergeant Greenwald. Mr. Flynn was there, and he helped me get through it. He told me not to be afraid and just to do it to graduate. So I put on my belt and I did it to graduate. The next few days, we got our weapons, which was an M4, and we headed off to the gas chamber. The gas chamber is always that 1% that it doesn't affect. And I was that 1%. It hurt, but it wasn't like everybody else. Everybody else had snot coming out their nose and they were coughing. For me, it felt a little horrible, but it wasn't that bad, to be honest with you. I was more worried about my ankle than anything because it still didn't heal up. From that point on, we went back. We did a lot of walking. You do a lot of walking, period, in basic. It doesn't matter where you go. And so we did that, and then you also do the hammer. The hammer is a 5-mile ruck march. Every ruck march, I had the same battle buddy by my side. It was now PFC Kuwait, about to be Specialist Kuwait. And she was always with me. And we did every ruck march together, everything together, and we tried to make the best of it. And I appreciate her. I actually still talk to her. She's still one of my closest friends. And I appreciate her so much. Between red phase and white phase, that's when you start to get your letters from home. You start realizing, you start analyzing when can you write letters. And so I found it always the best time to write letters during nighttime, before I went to bed. So I figured it out between the first week and the second week is when I figured out how to do it. I will always have my stuff prepped. So my clothes that I knew I was going to wear, I always had them prepped with my towel, my washcloth, and my hygiene stuff to go in the shower. I always had that prepped. So when we got released and it was like, you have 15 minutes to shower, make sure you're in the right uniform. Your drill sergeants are coming upstairs to make sure everybody's accounted for. I always made sure I had everything prepped. I take a shower, and my showers were fast because it was a lot of females. It was 65 females in one room, and the guys had 3 whole rooms to themselves, 3 whole bays to themselves. So it was 60 to 70 females in one bay. So I knew I had to get in and get out. So took a 5-minute shower, and in the last 10 minutes, I will always write my mom or somebody from back home, between my mom, my stepdad, my sister, and my aunts. Always write them, and to make sure I got their letters out on time. It was one letter particularly that I had sent out that I wasn't getting any letters. So at this point, I really thought my parents thought, you know what, she can do it on her own. She's a strong female. With my parents dealing with the military and being in the military, I felt like they said, oh, she got this on her own. So I wrote a letter saying, I guess I'm on my own, and thanks for the support, sarcastically wise. So I remember sending that letter out, and I remember ever since sending that letter out, I was down. And that was the same time we were going into white phase. Dealing with white phase, you're at the range more. So you're learning how to fire your M4, you're learning your battle buddies, and you're just spending more time as a platoon together and learning what triggers everybody at this point. So I remember doing that. I remember learning how to shoot my M4, which I was super happy about that because I zeroed my M4 the first day, and I was the first one to zero. So I was like, oh, I love shooting an M4. It gets your anger out. I'm trying to explain it to you. The walking sucked, but doing that was a great experience. And I remember taking my M4 apart one day and putting it back together. And I had my guy best friend from basic training, now PFC Cantu, what should be Specialist Cantu. Sooner or later, give it a month or two, and both Floyd and Cantu will pick up at the same time. And they were so amazing. And Cantu always put a smile on my face. Even when I was down, he knew exactly how I was feeling. I remember having allergies one day. He's like, everybody's asking, what's wrong? He's like, chill, she got allergies. And I really did have allergies. They were acting up. And I'm just like, oh, he cared. So just shout out to him because I really cared. But During that time of white phase, we had the Anvil, which is your 10-mile ruck march. And the only thing I can really say is drink plenty of water. I say this, I know they're gonna say it at basic, like, oh, drink water. Really drink water, because I was a heat cat in my basic, and heat cat is basically when your body really, really overheats and it's trying to cool it's trying to cool itself down. But I remember being sick and I just wasn't feeling well, and the last thing I remember was passing out and waking up in an ambulance with my battle buddy there. And you know, it sucks being a heat cat. You have needle sticks in you everywhere. I had needle in each arm. I had a needle in my ankle. I had a needle in my leg. It sucked, okay? So I will tell y'all to make sure you do what you gotta do. Drink water. When a drill sergeant says drink water, don't try to be the strong one, because don't try to do what I would do and try to be the strong one and end up falling out, because it naturally sucks. So white phase was a little horrible because you had the Anvil, which you stayed out for 2 nights, 3 days in the same clothes. You're sweaty, you're hungry, you're eating MREs. By the way, MREs suck. You get used to them, but that's what you're basically doing. You're learning how to be a soldier, so they're teaching you methods about proper trigger squeeze. You're going to learn how to be stealth at nighttime, and you're also pulling guard with the battle buddy that's next to you. So you have your M4 and you're walking around making sure the perimeter is good and all good to go, and that's good. So while you're doing that, it's really good for you to do that. And when we got back, we had a whole bunch of letters. And I remember thinking like, oh, I'm not going to get a letter. I'm not going to get a letter. And I remember them calling my name and they're like, Baylock. And I'm just like, what? And they're like, Baylock, you got 10 letters over here. Get over here. And I'm just like, there's no way they call my name. And they're like, Baylock. And I'm like, moving, drill sergeant. And I remember having all these letters from my family. Like I had like 5. I had like 2 letters from my aunt, both of my aunts. I had a letter from my older sister, my stepdad, my mom, and my grandparents, and they were all writing me. And I remember I didn't have time to open up all of them and read all of them. I had to read them periodically, because I was still doing training. So it was still nights where I was up late or I was pulling night guard. So I read my letters during night shift when I had to get up in the bay. And you might not have it every single night, but you're gonna have it at least every 2 other nights. So I remember pulling night shift, and I remember reading my letters. And the first letter I read them out of order. So I remember reading one of my mom's letters because she was the first person that I wanted to hear from. And I remember reading her letters, and it said, don't think that I'm not writing you. I am writing you. Here it is. I care for you. I love you. Don't worry, I'll see you soon. And that's how I knew my family was still there. And I remember that night reading that one letter. I sent it out. I sent another letter out to my parents like, all right, I got your letter. But I guess my letter didn't get to her quick enough, just like her letters didn't get to me quick enough. And I remember her calling my drill sergeant. She called my basic training. This is how crazy my mom is. She called my basic training and demand to speak with my commander. And I remember my drill sergeant coming out, and he's like, Baylock, come here. So I called my buddy. When you always talk to a drill sergeant, you always talk with them with a battle buddy. A battle buddy is like that person that just gives that extra ear. So I remember calling Cantu and another male, and I'm like, Cantu, like, come over, like, drill sergeant needs to speak with me. And I remember standing there at parade rest, and I'm like, yes, drill sergeant. And he was like, I just got a call from your mom. And I'm just like, are you sure it's me? He was like, yeah, I'm positive. He was like, did you not get any letters? And I'm like, I did just last night, but those were the only letters I got. And when I sent out the other ones, it was before I received her ones. And he was like, well, I told her that you're fine and you're doing good, and that you will call her soon whenever y'all get your phone call, and that you're gonna be a good soldier And I remember hearing that from my drill sergeant Flynn, and it was an amazing time. Just hearing that my mom wanted to talk to me. So I remember us standing in formation in my PG. I believe it was Specialist Jeffers. I remember once she was a specialist, I know that, and I remember her standing there, and I remember them bringing out our cell phones, and I'm like, oh, I can talk to my mom. They're like, you get 10 minutes to call your parents, and that was our first phone call. And it was during Whiteface, and I called my mom, and I remember picking up the phone, and she was just like, I knew you would call. She said, I had a feeling you would call. I keep my phone on me 24/7 just in case you call. And I remember breaking down in tears like, Mom, like, I miss you. And she's like, you got this. 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 And I just remember hearing that so much. And I'm just like, thank you. Like, actually, thank you. And I remember hearing that phone call. And I'm just like, oh, that's my family so much. So I know I had 4 weeks left, so I knew if I got through the first month, I was going to get through the next month. Going into white phase from blue phase, this is your graduation phase. This is where you're finalizing, you're showing your drill sergeant that you are a soldier. This is where everything is tested. Your integrity is basically tested at this point. It's going to show if you have a lot of heart, because the last phase is the forge. And the forge is the worst thing. It's going to be the worst work march that you ever do, because it's your last work march. So they're going to break you. I remember waking up for the forge, and we're getting an MRA, and one of our drill sergeants comes out, and he's like, copy, half ride, face front lean, best position move. And we're just sitting there. We're like, what did we do? And he's like, welcome to the forge. And I remember our student first yelling out, it was like, this not gonna break us. We ready. So I was PG at the time. So I'm like, our slogan for Echo Company was too easy. So I remember yelling out, I was like, too easy. And then my student first was like, Echo Company. We was like, too easy. Echo Company, too easy. And my drill sergeant was like, yeah, we'll see. And I'm just like, oh, we done fucked up. And I remember he was like, positive attention, move. And he said, finish eating your MREs up. We finished eating that, and that's when we had started stepping off for the forge. So for the forge, I would say be smart about what you pack. I mean, obviously you have a packing list from your drill sergeant. It depends on if your drill sergeant checks it or not, but I'd say be smart about what you pack, because you might not need everything on that packing list. So for me, I packed smart since I was PG, and my other PG, PFC Kelly was my battle for PG. And I remember like packing everything on the list and making sure everything was good and being smart. The forge sucks. My commander got lost, so we rucked more. We rucked more than what we were supposed to ruck that day, but it was okay. I sucked it up. And I remember getting there, and we finally rest. They sleep deprive you, so get ready for that. You're sleep deprived. You don't get any sleep. Like, even if you want to get sleep, you're not about to get any sleep during the forge. During the forge, you do the night crawl, you go to more ranges, you do land nav, and then you finally go back home. And the last day is the obstacle course, when you take off your beret, you take off your PC, and you switch to your beret. And it's a big ceremony that you do, which is so much fun. And I remember the forge sucked. It was raining. We had to ruck all the way back to our company, because all our stuff was sold. Even my commander's stuff was sold. So we had to ruck all the way back, and just to make sure everything was fine. But the forge didn't go our way, but it definitely sucked, and you're going to remember every last bit of it. And I remember we finished the forge, and we were at a ceremony, and I remember my drill sergeant, my drill sergeant, it was a female drill sergeant, Drill Sergeant Recon. Drill Sergeant Recon was the flyest person there. I ain't gonna lie. She was bougie. She was like literally, she brought a cooler to a ruck march. That's how bougie one of my drill sergeants were, okay? So, I remember her snatching off my PC and she's like, "Where's your beret?" And I said, "Right here, drill sergeant." And she was like, "I'm proud of you." And she said, "You're gonna be amazing." She said, "So quit fucking crying." And I like wipe my tears and I'm like, "Okay, drill sergeant." And I wipe my tears. But it was definitely amazing. It was so much fun doing the OSPA course with my drill sergeant. She was there all the way, and we were singing cadences like, "Hey, second, look out your window. Here comes your daddy, your big tough daddy." And I remember my drill sergeant singing that cadence, and it was so much fun. And basic training, like I said, has its ups and downs. The one thing I can say is find a battle buddy that you can relate to. And just being there with them makes all of the difference. And because you're not having your parents there, you're not having that support that you usually have there, and you have to rely on your battle buddies, that's what's going to make the big difference. I can honestly say if I didn't have Cantu, or if I didn't have Floyd there, or my friend Tori, or my friend Kuhn, or Via Luz, or any of them there, if I didn't have any of them there, I probably wouldn't have made it during basic. So it was an amazing experience to actually get through basic. And I remember family day, seeing my family breaking down in tears, crying during basic, happy to get the hell out of basic. It was so amazing. But all I can say is be prepared, drink water. If this is something you really want to do, put your heart into it and don't give up. And if a drill sergeant is there, you might have a dick drill sergeant. My dick drill sergeant was Drill Sergeant Greenwald. And he's probably going to see this. Hopefully he don't see it. But if he do see it, he was a dick. And he can smoke me. He can do corrective training later. But you're going to have drill sergeants like Drill Sergeant Recon and Drill Sergeant Flynn who give you corrective action, but actually talk to you and cares about you. Or you're going to have a Drill Sergeant Greenwald who's a dick. Or a Drill Sergeant Raby who's a dick, who smokes the shit out you for just sitting there and breathing. So, good and or bad, outcome is how you want it to be. But if you're ever in Echo Company 339, let me know how it is. And if anything has changed. And it's going to be so good to see everything and being experienced. But I'm telling you, basic training is where you learn your true colors. I never knew I could do half of the things that I did. And I got through it with taking a PT test and shooting an M4 and not having a mental support there, but having support from your friends. That's going to be so amazing. But that was my basic training experience. I hope you guys liked the video. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and tell me anything else you want me to tell you. And the next video is probably going to be about my AIT experience. Don't quote me on that. But everybody, stay strong, stay blessed. If anything,